So for this episode today, I wanted to do a follow-up on my previous episode I just had with Dr. Luke, because there are a few things that he said that I think are really important, and I just wanted to highlight and break them down a little bit further. So we're going to be talking about muscle, metabolism, aging, and even that mindset shift. And before we dive in it today, I just want to share something with you guys. I am part of a gluten-free expo. And quick side note, this expo has a ton of free resources, and they're not just gluten-free resources. There's a lot of practical tools that anyone can use in there, like meal ideas, habit support, gut health, cravings, sleep, and my 5-day core challenge is in there. So this expo goes from May 16th through the 22nd. There's going to be a link in the description. So if you guys want to join it, it's free and you can check out these resources, see if there's any that can help support you. Hi friends, and welcome to the Healthy Beyond 40 show. I'm Michelle, mama 4 and military wife, and I'm passionate about helping women get healthy from the inside out so they can feel better and live their best life. Do you feel like you're struggling to lose weight and get in shape? If you're ready to develop healthier habits, exercise consistently, and lose weight sustainably, then you're in the right place. I combine my expertise from my doctorate in physical therapy to my experience as a health coach, personal trainer, and yoga teacher to bring you actionable steps for a healthy lifestyle. No magic pill here, so lace up those shoes and get moving. All right, so let's dive into it. So I'm just going to highlight some different things from the conversation I had with Dr. Luke. So one thing I want you guys to really keep in mind is that you cannot outrun your fork. So food matters, right? If we're eating too much, no matter what we do, we're not going to burn off all those calories. But what I want you to remember that exercise isn't just about burning calories. When we shift to this idea of muscle and really putting on muscle mass, that really helps to change our metabolism. It helps us to burn more calories when we're at rest. We get that afterburn when we work out. So it's not just about eating less. It's also about building a body that is strong and works better, that has better agility, that has better balance, that can really work for us, especially as we get older. And another point is why muscle changes everything, right? And just like I said, the more muscle we have, the more calories our body's going to burn. So that's our basic metabolism. So more muscle mass increases our metabolism. Muscle also takes up less space than fat. So if I have 3 pounds of muscle and 3 pounds of fat, that 3 pounds of fat is going to be a lot bigger. So you could actually have two people that weigh the same, but their bodies are going to look very different. So if one person was very muscular, they're going to probably look leaner versus someone who weighs the same but is not muscular and has more fat. They're going to look different and they're going to be bigger too, because fat cells just take up more space than muscle cells. So the scale can sometimes guide us or be helpful. Sometimes it's not helpful to us all, but the weight of our body isn't the full story. And it's something Dr. Luke mentioned too, is just that afterburn effect. So when we do strength training, for example, like if I did 30 minutes of strength training versus 30 minutes of cardio, in that simple workout, during those 30 minutes, cardio is probably going to burn more calories. But the thing with strength training is your body keeps burning calories after, because it's really having to repair and rebuild those muscles. So it's not just during the workout, it's also after the workout. So sometimes we can look at some gadget or device that can tell us if I walk for 30 minutes or I ride a bike, how many calories I'm going to burn. And that just feels really good in our mind. Or we might negotiate with ourselves like, well, if I just burned off 300 calories, I can eat this, that's 300 calories. But with strength training, we're getting that afterburn too. So not only are we burning some calories while we're working out, but after, but it's not going to show up on a calculator. And so as he was talking, it just made me think a lot, because on this podcast, I link to talk about mindset and the thoughts and emotions and feelings that we have, because that really fuels what we do and what we don't do. So he briefly brought this up, but we need to shift some of our mindset thoughts. So maybe someone has the thought, I just need to eat less. And that's not a super helpful thought, but we could shift it to, I need to fuel my body and I need to build strength. That feels so much more empowering. Or someone, I'm just going to skip this meal to save these calories, or because I ate too much at something else, versus I'm going to eat a balanced meal with some protein and some veggies, right? We're not depriving ourselves. We're focusing on what is truly healthy for our body. So someone might think I need to burn calories. I need to get this many calories a day, or I need to get this many steps a day, which like having a step goal isn't terrible. But it's that mindset and that way we're coming at it. Or I'm going to get stronger, or I want to have more endurance. Maybe someone says I need to lose weight fast. A lot of people, sometimes they don't put that fast disclaimer, but they want it. Some people will say it. Versus I want to build a body that lasts, right? So we have to become aware of these thoughts that we have in our mind and how can we change them to something that's actually going to help us change in the way we show up in our life. And Dr. Luke also mentioned muscle loss is real. So when we get sick or injured, muscle loss happens quickly. And maybe you have had a period of time where you were sick or injured or something happened, and you can just tell muscle loses really fast. And as we age, it can be easier to lose and it's harder to rebuild. It can take more time. I loved how he said he is in his 70s, and I think it was like he just gained 15 pounds of muscle mass. How amazing is that? And so he is a man, so there's going to be some differences between women and men in gaining muscle. But we're never too old to start gaining muscle mass and start to take care of our bodies. But we have to know that this muscle mass is going to happen. And what can we do to prevent it or to maintain the muscle mass that we have? And I was talking to Dr. Luke after we stopped recording. And we also just briefly were talking about how people maybe use things to lose weight very quickly. So maybe there's some type of medication that people are using and they lose weight really quickly. And what he has seen and what when I look up those types of medications is you're losing weight so fast that you're losing fat, but you're also losing muscle along with it, which we do not want. And that really goes for about any time someone loses weight fast is they're going to typically lose muscle along with it. And what happens is eventually the diet ends, the medication ends. At some point it ends that you can't maintain it and you get off of it and your hunger comes back and your body has less muscle mass, so it's less metabolically active and you're weaker. And we don't want that. So we have to really think long terms when we're thinking about how we want to take care of our health. And so I'm not telling anybody to or to not take a medication. That is something you discuss with your doctor, but that is definitely a side effect that we need to be aware of. And so especially as we age and we're thinking about muscle mass is important because it helps with our bone density, our stronger bones, so we can prevent fractures. It can help with balance. It helps as we get older, like staying independent, being able to get up to carry things upstairs, walk upstairs, all these different things. That's that functional movement in our life that really matters. And so we want to think about how we want to live, not just how we want to look. And it's going to be a lot easier if we have strength in our 40s, 50s, and 60s than just trying to get it in our 70s and 80s, right? So as much as we can, we really want to build that strength and have that strength as we are aging and not wait till problems come up. Because, right, there may not be a problem with the muscle mass we have now till we get a lot older and we can see those when we're in our 80s or 70s, the problems that come with that. And so before I end with just a few simple tips and different ideas to give you guys, I want to encourage you that if you're listening and you're thinking, I don't know where to start, I have trouble staying consistent, that's what exactly I can help you with. So I do online personal training. I also do health coaching, and we can really create a plan and help you to stay consistent and to find that missing piece that you haven't had, where maybe you've been spinning your wheels and things haven't been working. We can do things differently together to get a plan laid out for you. So if that's you, Feel free to set up a free call with me so we can see if we're a fit, and I can just hear from you and see where you are and see what you need. And there will be a link in the description where you guys can set up that free call. All right, so I always like to end with something that is doable. So as we're thinking about all these different pieces, and especially thinking a little bit more on muscle mass today, is to prioritize protein, to make sure that you are getting enough protein, because it is the building block of muscle cells. So if we're not eating enough protein, we're not going to be able to build those muscles, even if we're doing the strength training. So really thinking of a simple way, like how can I get protein with each meal? The next thing is really to try to strength train 2 to 3 times a week. And I myself like to do a full body strength workout 2 or 3 times a week. So my workouts are typically 30 minutes or less. And sometimes I have days where it is 10 minutes because I know I don't have the time, but I know staying consistent and doing 10 minutes is better than skipping it. So doing that full body workout, hitting all those big major muscle groups 2 to 3 times a week, really putting that strain on the muscles. So I will also do yoga on the other days, and that's almost more like an endurance. There's probably a few yoga strength moves where they're pretty intense. But when you do strength training to build muscle, you want to only be able to do something like 8 to 12 reps to really strain that muscle, to tell it to rebuild and get stronger. So yoga sometimes will have the strength that we're more holding it, and that can be good. But I like to do that sort of heavier strength training, right? Where when I do strength training, I'm holding a weight and doing squats instead of just doing a chair pose in yoga. So they're both good, but when it comes to muscle building, that strength training where you can get 8 to 12 reps is definitely going to be more helpful. And really just to focus on consistency. So that simple idea I just said with myself, where sometimes it is 10 minutes and that's okay, because it helps me to create that consistency and to not give up. And we don't have to do something extreme. So I know Dr. Luke said he goes to the gym. For me, I pretty much do my strength training at home. I have weights here because that decreases the friction and makes it easier for me to do. So if you're a busy mom and you have kids at home, or you work full time and just going to the gym doesn't happen, have less resistance. So it's easier to do. You can do that at home. If you can go to the gym and that's more motivating to you and you can do that consistently, then go to the gym. So find that spot, that place, that exercise routine that you can stay consistent with. And also, one of my clients, she typically likes to start her day listening to something that is motivating for her health, right? And we have so much input into our brains from our phones, from our computers, social media, all this messaging. But we can choose to think, how do I need to start my day so I can make sure I'm prioritizing my strength training or my walk or eating my protein or focusing on that healthy eating or staying consistent, whatever it is. So I would encourage you that if you are struggling with that, is to really start your day in a way that's going to set yourself up for success. What do you need to get into that right mindset? What do you need to maybe do to push yourself, even though sometimes you don't want to get started? And again, if you need any support, just reach out and set up a free call. All right, friends, I hope that you guys have a great week. Remember to check the description for all my links and keep on moving.